Hello again at Northlake Community Church, Pastor Josh here. As I'm sure you've heard by now, this last Sunday, our governor announced new restrictions and guidelines and hope to slow the spread of the coronavirus. And some of these directly impact us as a church, and we've been fielding a lot of questions from you on what we're going to do moving forward. So as always, whenever we have new restrictions, our elders gather together in a group, weighed our new restrictions, and put those up against our purpose as a church in order to provide for us new guidelines of how we're going to move forward. Before we go on to our updates though, I do want to remind us on what the purpose of us as a church is. Northlake at its core is all about helping people know who Jesus is and fully live the life God has for them. And we realize that this building, but more than that, us as a church, is really just a hub for us as believers to come together, to fellowship, to worship, to read God's word, and to be encouraged to go into the world and make more disciples. That's why we exist. And we as church leadership realize that right now, more than ever, the biggest things that we need as believers is community and fellowship and connection together. That even though these are difficult times, that we are not alone and we want to spur one another towards the love and good works that Jesus calls us to. So with that understanding, we looked at these guidelines that the governor put out and we came up with our new strategy moving forward. First thing for you all to know is we are going to continue to meet with our services here at the church, having one service on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Our capacity for our worship center has been 120 people since we've been meeting here, and luckily for us, that actually comes underneath the 25% occupancy limit that our governor has put out. So our limit still is the same number, and that keeps us nice and safe. Second thing that you guys need to know is that if you come to service, we will continue to be singing songs. The governor has asked for us to not sing during our worship service because we know that singing, just like sneezing or shouting, whether with a mask on or off, is going to spread more particles, and then there's a chance of higher risk for more germs. So while we are going to continue to sing, because we think that is essential for us as believers as we come together, we are going to sing a few less songs. We're going to have a few less worship leaders up on stage. And just so you know, the volume of our worship is going to be a little bit lower to encourage us to still sing with praise, but maybe just a little bit quieter to help slow the spread. Third thing for you guys to know, we are going to be reminding people every time they come through our doors or anytime they go and be a part of a group to please continue to wear your face mask properly over your nose and mouth for the whole time that you are in our building or in a community group. It is super important more than ever that we follow the guidelines put in front of us so we can slow the spread and continue to gather as a church. Along with that, we are still encouraging any of you who are in small groups or in home groups or in community groups, we encourage you to please keep meeting. If you're uncomfortable meeting in person, we would encourage you to jump on Zoom. We have 2 accounts that we're open to anybody to meet on Zoom on. But man, we so want us to continue to connect in community as a church. And the last thing that we want to share with you, church, if you are at risk, if you're somebody based on health conditions or your age that you really want to avoid getting the coronavirus, we would encourage you, please forego coming and joining our services or meeting with your small groups in person. We know that this is a serious virus and that the risks are there and present, and we would encourage you, if you're concerned at all, please don't let us feel like we're trying to force you to do something that's not going to be good for your health. Along with that, I would ask that all of us would consider who each of us come in contact with. Because while you or I may not be at risk, we may come in contact with somebody that is at risk, that is uncomfortable with us going and being a part of services or social gatherings. So church, please, my ask would be that we would just prayerfully consider who we come in contact with, and that if there is anybody at risk, that we would do our part to forgo joining in person and yet still join together online through our high quality services. Church, these are difficult times. And more than ever, we need to gather together as a church to fulfill our purpose to go and share the love of Jesus to the world. And rest assured, we will keep putting out great high quality content for all of us and options for us to meet as groups online. One final thing that I think is really important to note is that while this is our decision today, we've realized with coronavirus and 2020 that things can change as early as tomorrow. So please stay informed and stay up to date online, through email, Facebook, YouTube, wherever we post so that you can know all the new updates of what's going on. And last but not least, if you have any questions or you have any concerns or you just want to talk to one of us here at the church on leadership, we would love to talk to you. Please don't hesitate to reach out. All that to say, church, I hope that you will join me in continually gathering together and progressing the gospel truth that we believe here at Northlake.